Hello, this is Angela Johnson Ayers with Confessions of Mommy and Life Cannot Wait. Thank you for joining me on my podcast. I'm just so excited to be speaking with you. We have, 6 more days before Christmas, Christ Mass. And so I know that some of you all are excited as moms. And then I know there are some of you all who may not be that excited about Christmas. You know, I was sitting at home the other day and I was thinking about just how Christmas used to seem so magical to me when I was a child. And I was just like, man, why is it that I don't feel that? What is going on with me that I don't feel the magic and the excitement about Christmas? And then I said, you know what? I have let life, the burdens of life and the hustle bustle and the worries and concerns and everything that's going on around me impact the excitement of this season for me. And thus, by me not being excited about it, my children aren't really, they're excited because if they're kids and they know they're going to get a couple of gifts, but I mean the true excitement of it. And that is so easy for us to be impacted by what's going on around us. I mean, wherever you look, there seems to be catastrophe and death and chaos and confusion and so much foolishness going on. And it's just like, dear God, where is my joy? It's bogged down. But I am determined. When I had that epiphany, I said to myself, I am determined to first and foremost focus on the reason of Christmas. See, if we think about and acknowledge and really know the true meaning of Christmas and the birth of our Savior, that would excite you from the start, right then and there. And then, I love decorating the house and making it Christmassy and Santa Clauses and lights and stockings and all that good stuff. And I tell you, if I really had the money to just go all out, my house would look like those houses on there's this show that comes on where they show all the houses compete to who has the most, lavish decorations. I declare that would be me. But I've done the best I could with the money I'm working with. But I tell you, when I started thinking about it, so last night, at nighttime, we turn on the lights in the house, the Christmas trees and everything. And I was looking at the lights and I said, you know what? Jesus is the light of the world. And as these lights in my house and around the tree and outside and the tree in the other family room, as those lights are lit up, that is what Jesus does for us. And as I started breaking it down and really understanding it, and not just understanding, but reminding myself of Christmas, I started getting excited for it. And then too, my husband and I and the girls, we live in North Carolina, and most of our family, our immediate family, is back in the Washington, D.C. and Maryland area. So, and for us to travel, it's like a 4.5 trip. But you all who have children, a 4.5 road trip turned into sometimes a 5.5 or 6, depending on the age of the children and the traffic. So sometimes it's more than an ocean hitting that road. But so we, I don't see them. And of course, I love my mama and daddy and brothers and sisters and all my nieces and nephews, and I want to be around them during Christmas. But since I can't, or we choose to be here for Christmas, it's like, the Lord was really showing me, Angela, you can make this exciting for your family. Make the traditions for your family. And so I guess my message, I know my message on this podcast today is for you all, don't let what's going on around us affect the excitement of Christmas, Christ Mass, the celebration that our Savior was born. You understand? And that the lights, don't let all this commercialism make you forget. And so what I've done, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to spiritualize in a way a lot of the things that the world may take for just as a worldly thing to do. Like, for example, the lights, all the Christmas lights that I have up. Now I'm like, okay, Jesus, the light of the world. He lit up the world. He lights us up with his love. And so that's what those lights symbolize. I give it meaning. And like the tree and everything else. Now, I don't know how I could spiritualize Santa Claus. I have like a Saint Nick and a elf on the shelf over the fireplace mantle and all that stuff. Some things you just can't make spiritual. But what I'm saying is just for the excitement of Christ. And I want my children to have that same experience. And so as parents, it's so important that we embrace and spread that to our children and embrace tradition. And again, I battle with it a lot. I battle with seeing life in a positive way. I am not by nature a positive person. I am more of a pessimist, whereas my husband is an optimist. He is very positive about things, and I am extremely negative. I was not always like that. I think over years and years of things happening and me internalizing them and not really dealing with stuff like I should have or could have, I let it beat me down. So it's a job for me to see life in a positive way. You understand? Even like waking up in the morning, I have to say, okay, Angela, you don't have to encourage myself. And I was listening to Joyce Myers the other morning, and she was talking about dread and how it is just when you dread doing things, it will suck the joy out of it and things like that. And for me, a lot of times I'll be dreading, oh God, I got to do all this today, and instead I'm like, she's right. Why dread it when I can do it and give God the glory and be thankful that I have the arms, the legs, the mindset and everything to do what I need to do, And so the same goes for you all. Like I said, just the other day, I'm looking at the news and I'm reading on paper and online and I see about the Amtrak train that derailed. People died. I'm reading about sex trafficking, child abductions. When I go to the store, I'm scared I don't want to say scared to death, but I'm terrified, and I'm always watching my kids, making sure no strange people come around us because my children are beautiful and I'm nervous there, and then when I'm driving, I'm nervous because you hear of all these accidents and then you hear of the chaos with the political system that's going on, the hatred. It's just so much mess till it's like it's easy to just want to just stay in the house. And I've had those thoughts. The spirit of fear had gripped me. There was a point where I didn't even want to leave the house. I mean, I had to because I had to do what I needed to do, but the thought would come to me, I could just keep my kids in the house. We don't have to go anywhere. But I said, I can't live in fear. And my husband always says, you are not prepared to live until you are prepared to die. And what he means by that is you have to know who your Savior is. You have to know that you have a heavenly home, that this earth is not our home. But that doesn't mean that you have to dwell on death and dying. Whereas for me, I'm always thinking, especially after becoming a mother, I'm telling you, I battled for years, fear and worry and anxiety about, oh my God, I'm going to die and leave my kids. Just the thoughts will come to me and the enemy will bring those thoughts to me constantly. He would bombard my mind with it, bombard my mind. I'm here to tell you where I had no peace. He would constantly speak to my mind and tell me, you're going to die, you're going to leave your kids, you're going to do this. Anytime I have an ache and a pain, I was like, oh my God, this is cancer. Oh my God, this is this. There's a heart attack. And he had me just crazy as a loon. And I know some of you all may be battling the same thing, but I'm here to tell you that first and foremost, we cannot live in fear. Either we're going to walk in faith or we're going to walk in fear. But you can't do both. We can't be double-minded. Now, walking in faith doesn't mean I'm going to walk out in the middle of a 5 or 6 lane highway and say I'm believing God. I'm not going to let no snake bite me and dance around with snakes and believe that the venom is not going. That's foolishness. There's a difference. I remember years ago, Fred Price wrote a book called Faith, Foolishness and Presumption. And I read that book. I mean, it had to have been like over 20 years ago because I think I was in undergrad when I read it. And it blessed me, though. It's like people who pray, Lord, help me to lose weight. But you're not exercising, you're not cutting back, you have no plan whatsoever. You're just sitting there eating donuts all day long. That's foolishness. That's foolishness. You praying and believing God for a mate, but yet you don't leave your house. You know what I'm saying? When you leave the house, you look like Who Shot John. You're not trying to build your mind up, your body, your spirit, your character, or nothing. I'm believing God. You can believe God by yourself. You understand? So my whole point is this holiday season, you all, let's not allow everything that's going on around us to take away from the true meaning of Christmas and to share that with our children. That does not mean that we act as though trials and tribulations are not going on around us. We can't forget about our brothers and sisters in Puerto Rico, and the disasters in Texas, what's going on in Africa and many countries in Africa. We can't forget about Christians being persecuted in some parts of China. You understand? We cannot forget about what's happening in this world. And that's another thing. The enemy a lot of times wants you to turn a blind eye and a deaf ear to situations that need to be looked at, addressed, and send some type of aid and relief. We can't do that. That's another thing. It is easy this holiday season to do the opposite, where you are consumed with yourself, where you forget about other people who are struggling. And it doesn't have to just be in another part of the world. You got people struggling on your street that you may not even know about. So it's vitally important that we use this season, this holiday season, to really focus on what's important. And that is first and foremost the meaning behind Christmas, the birth of a Savior. And second of all, to pass that excitement on to our children about Christ. And to build tradition, to build our own family traditions that can be passed down from generation to generation. And that it's okay to celebrate, to be excited and happy. That's one thing I really had to learn, because like I said, having been, my nature is to be rather on the negative side. And also, I used to battle with self-condemnation and everything like that. So the Lord has really helped me to realize that it's okay to be happy, Angela. You know, like many of us are predisposed to being what I call self-sabotagers, where anytime you have an opportunity to be happy, you would tell yourself that you don't deserve to be happy. And that's also a trick from the enemy, because the opposite of joy and happiness and peace is what? Negativity and doubt and fear and complacency and procrastination and all those other spirits that travel in groups together. And so what you want to do for this holiday season and also throughout the year is to just acknowledge that a Savior was born for us. Doesn't mean life is going to be hunky-dory all the time and that there aren't going to be trials and tribulations, but that it's okay to be happy and to have joy in spite of, in the midst of all chaos and hell that's breaking loose around us. And to not allow all this catastrophe around us to make us feel hopeless, to make us feel like there is no hope, because it's easy to do. Like I said, I mean, I battle that every day of my life, and I know many people that do. It is easy to just say, what's the use of trying? Catastrophes happening. North Korea is threatening nuclear war. We have a political system that clearly needs Jesus, you know, and it's just a mess. So, and our own personal issues. So my whole point is this, you all. Let's really focus on Jesus as the reason for the season, and to celebrate a Savior, and not allow everything that's going on around us to make us feel or to sap our joy. You know, I choose joy, and I hope you will too. Until next time, you all be blessed. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.